Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and today we're going to get a glimpse behind the scenes of Dead by Daylight working together with Remedy Games to bring their protagonist Alan Wake from his franchise of games into the world of Dead by Daylight. So DBD put out this tweet riding the high of the acclaimed Alan Wake 2, which by the way a lot of people said that was their game of the year for 2023. I haven't played it yet. I've played Alan Wake 1 and the extra DLC content for Alan Wake 1, and I've played Alan Wake American Nightmare, but I haven't touched Alan Wake 2 yet, which people say is even better. So it says here, we connected with Dead by Daylight's creative director Dave Richard and our friends at Remedy Games to talk about bringing Alan Wake into the fog. So let's click on this link and see what this story is all about. Well, first I want to tell you about this new apparel company that I'm sponsored by called Into the AM. They make elevated, everyday graphic t-shirts, and I just love the quality of them. When they approached me, I saw the designs, and I absolutely fell in love with them. And you can use my code to get 10% off of anything on the website. I'm actually wearing this Galactic Grooves shirt here right now, and I also have this Cosmic Court tee with the astronaut playing pickleball with the moon. I just love the graphics on here. I would suggest, if this is your kind of style, to go on here and go through all their designs, and you know, you can use my code to save 10% off, and obviously it helps the channel too, so I would appreciate it a ton. Anyway, shout out to Into the AM. Okay, so clicking that link takes you to the official Dead by Daylight website here, and let's read this article. Dead by Daylight and Alan Wake 2's creative teams talk about bringing Alan Wake into the fog. As fans of the acclaimed Alan Wake series, the Dead by Daylight team was eager to bring the eponymous writer into the fog, where he'll fight to survive alongside some of the horror genre's most iconic characters. How might the champion of light navigate to a different sort of a dark place? We spoke with our creative director, Dave Richard, as well as Remedy's creative director, Sam Lake, principal writer, Clay Murphy, and principal character artist, John Crossland, about bringing the best-selling author into the fog. Dave Richards' history with Alan Wake goes way back during a time when Dead by Daylight was being developed. In the early stages, we were working on a variety of horror titles that would eventually become Dead by Daylight, explains Richard. Alan Wake was such an interesting take on survival horror, and its atmosphere and narrative really struck our imagination. It became a classic for us that we would take inspiration from. There's a lot of overlap between Alan Wake and Dead by Daylight that makes them a natural pairing, explains Alan Wake's principal writer, Clay Murphy. On a surface level, they're both about using light to escape a malevolent, shadowy presence, but they share a larger theme of being trapped in a horror story, fighting your way through endless loops, collaboration in the face of darkness. These two go together like rusty hooks and terrified survivors. The champion of light. When I think of Alan Wake, I think of the flashlight, says Dave Richard, noting a crucial tool in both games. It's so interesting how he uses a flashlight in combat as a defensive and offensive mechanism. Survivors do the same thing in Dead by Daylight, and Alan is the champion of light. When the team began brainstorming Perk ideas, one that centered around flashlights was a no-brainer. I will say here, I'm going to pause and just interject myself. Having played Alan Wake 1 and American Nightmare, I do think it was kind of a miss to put in a perk where, you know, Alan regenerates his health in light, right? So I thought maybe a perk where he could get faster healing speeds when near a completed generator, basking in the light of those generators, if he was within a certain radius, that would have been a neat perk. Maybe they thought of that. I'm sure the devs would have thought of that, having played the game. Maybe they found that idea was too OP, but I think that would have been a neat idea for a perk for Alan. Anyway, okay. When the designer has their list of themes to explore, they'll create a lot more perks than we need, he explains. We had a list of between 8 and 10 Alan Wake perks. Well, maybe that was one of the choices then. Between 8 and 10 Alan Wake perks when we began working on the chapter, and through a natural process, roundtables with designers, for instance, we narrowed down our favorites. For instance, a perk might represent an interesting action we'd like to do, or a space in gameplay that's currently underserved. Perks come in all shapes and sizes. Some contribute to the metagame, while others help newcomers acclimate to the gameplay loop and core mechanics. Richard explains that the team considers all players while conceptualizing perks, sharing deeper insight into the design and the release process. We have a soft rule that one perk should target novice players, one should be fun and kind of crazy, and one should be more competitive. Through a lot of play testing, the perks evolve until we go from 10 all the way down to 3, and after that we polish the final 3, we go to the PTB, do a final polish round, and release. Yeah, that's something that I've talked with other content creators like Lydia, that she had mentioned that she felt like there were different groups being serviced by the perks for each character, and it's hard to disagree with, especially seeing that Dave says that that's like their soft rule. So with Alan having such an iconic look and personality as brought to life by the excellent pair of actors Ika Vili, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, and Matthew Peretta, it was important that to ensure that the character was authentically realized in the world of Dead by Daylight. We were able to offer our already approved assets as a strong base to be built upon, reveals Crossland, Alan Wake's principal character artist. And then the Dead by Daylight team was able to add their style and make a seamless fit into their universe. Dark art. Not only has Alan Wake cemented himself among the iconic video game horror characters, but his lore and mind-bending journey lends itself nicely to the existing mythology of Dead by Daylight. We were impressed by Behavior Interactive from the early steps in our collaboration, reflects Sam Lake. They take lore and character very seriously, and they really wanted to understand Alan Wake and the supernatural lore of our fiction. And this is very important to us as well. What we realized together was that the setups and the lore of our two games and worlds are very compatible. Because Alan was already in the dark place, he is outside time, says Dave Richard. That's a recurring narrative of our game as well. Once you're in the world of the entity, you can meet people from different time periods. The order they've been taken doesn't matter. The entity is out of time and space. Having access to Alan Wake while he's trapped in the dark place makes a lot of sense for our universe, notes Richard. Even though being trapped in the entity's realms feels like a forever thing, we don't know exactly when it fits in Alan's timeline. It's a mystery in both universes, so it can be canon in both universes. Alan Wake is all about stories, so finding a way to tie the narratives together was important to us, explains Remedy's Clay Murphy. Working alongside the writers of Dead by Daylight, we developed a story that brings the franchises into each other's orbit in an interesting way. It was a very exciting collaboration for us. It was equally exciting to hear Remedy talk about their own experiences in the fog. I personally prefer to play Survivor, reveals John Crossland. That's kind of neat that they play the game. I'm looking forward to seeing how Alan faces off against the Trapper. I think his perk set is quite strong against him. As for how Dead by Daylight's characters might fare in the world of Alan Wake, Anna the Huntress would make a nice addition to Bright Falls, says Clay Murphy. She wears an animal mask, she throws hatchets at people. She'd fit right in. Guess that's it. Alright, so there's your behind the scenes about the collab between the two studios. Pretty neat. Depending on when you're watching this, we'll be streaming the Alan Wake content on launch day, and I'll be giving away copies of the DLC over on my Twitch, and those Twitch drops are going to be active as well. So if you want to come over, earn your Twitch drops, maybe get a copy of the DLC. Love to see you over there, but that's all I have for you today. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps the channel a ton. And don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life